All right. Welcome to the August 19th meeting of the Ann Arbor Parks Advisory Commission. This meeting is being conducted electronically and will be broadcast live on CTN Cable Channel 16 and online at a2gov.org/watchctn. To speak at public comment, call toll-free 877-853-5247 or any of the other published numbers on the agenda and enter meeting ID 959-7872-3467. Josh, would you like to call roll?
Yes, I will. Commissioner Bush. I see her. I see her name.
Sorry, my audio cut out. Present.
Commissioner Cavateo.
Present in Ann Arbor.
Commissioner Marson. Commissioner O'Connell.
Here in Ann Arbor.
Commissioner Montague.
Here in Mobile.
Commissioner Perlowski.
Here in Ann Arbor.
Commissioner Skiles.
Here in Ann Arbor.
Commissioner Smith.
Here in Ann Arbor.
Councilmember Radina.
Here in Ann Arbor.
Councilmember Watson.
Here in Ann Arbor.
You have a quorum.
All right, that brings us to the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? All right, hearing no changes, the agenda is approved, and that brings us to our first public commentary. For public comment, please follow the instructions to raise your hand and indicate that you would like to speak. When it's your turn to speak, please state your first name and your address. We'll allow 3 minutes per speaker. We don't respond in the moment to speakers, but we do appreciate you taking the time to call in and share your thoughts with us. Do we have any?
We do not have any callers at this time.
All right. That takes us to approval of the minutes of our June meeting minutes. Is there any corrections or any discussion around the June minutes? Okay, is there a motion to approve? Vincent, approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All
I'll second.
Alexa. All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
All right. Do I also have to ask if there are any objections, Josh? You're muted if you're answering my question.
Yep. No, I think we were all approved. So
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. Thank you all for bearing with me here. Okay, that brings us to our presentations, I believe. And our first presentation is from Blue Sky Tennis, and I believe it's being presented by Vonda. Hopefully I'm saying your name correctly.
You are. Thank you so much.
That's so great. Welcome.
You did it.
Vonda.
Thank
Great.
you. So I just need to share my screen. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. Let's see if this works. How do you do that? Is that right? Can you guys see that?
No.
Oh, sorry. Let's try this again. It says allow, I'm just going to say it. It says allow share window, allow share screen. So allow share screen. That's what I did. Anything happening? No, this is not good. Sorry. Aha, is it something happening? Okay.
Yes.
Can you see
There you
that?
go. Yep.
Okay, great. So thanks so much for the opportunity to present today for Blue Sky Tennis. We are a newer nonprofit based in Ann Arbor, but serving the areas around us. Our mission is to create opportunities to play tennis in underserved communities and to promote health and well-being through tennis. We have community partners already established, So we have community partners with the Ypsilanti Community Schools, Ann Arbor Public Schools, the USTA both in Southeastern Michigan and the Midwest section, as well as the USTA Foundation, of which we are a national NJTL chapter. We also are partner with our local Ann Arbor Area Community Tennis Association, which has been around for probably about 25 years. And we hope that we will be partners with the city of Ann Arbor too. So about myself a little bit, I don't really want to go over this in detail, but I've been in the tennis community here in Ann Arbor for over 20 years, and in the tennis industry for over 20 years. I'm currently a teaching pro at U of M Varsity Tennis Center, and I've had a lot of community tennis experience and coaching experience, receiving awards, and also have dual certification with the RSPA and the PTR. And I'm a PTR coach developer as well. So what I'd like to go over is what we've accomplished so far in just over a year that we've been a nonprofit. We've offered over 90 classes for more than 400 youth from Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, and the surrounding communities. We provided tennis and learning for Title I Ypsilanti School District's Grizzly Summer Camps this summer, as well as a Peace Neighborhood Summer Camp. We really tried to pique interest in tennis in underserved communities through our Try Tennis program that we started last year, that provides free sports sampling tennis classes to students ages 8 to 14. And this program moves locations to be accessible to different communities. So we do go out and move around and try to bring the tennis instead of trying to get the tennis to come to us. We've created a middle school team tennis program helping students in grades 6 through 8 continue playing tennis over the summer. So we did a continuation program from the Community Tennis Association that is currently in the public schools. We've given more than 50 scholarships to reduce financial barriers to tennis access, collected over 100 used rackets from a big racket drive we did at all the clubs in the spring, and we're currently giving them out to participants who need them. And we offer free pop-up match play and games opportunities so kids can learn how to play matches. We offer quality programs and staff. All our programs are free or low cost. We provide all the equipment. And like I said earlier, we are a USTA Community Tennis Association, which also helps provide our insurance. And we are allowed to apply for certain USTA grants through that. And we are a member of 250 National Junior Tennis and Learning Network providers, which was started by Arthur Ashe, I believe, in the 1970s. And again, we are certified and Safe Sport approved for all our lead instructors. Although we've had a lot of successes, we do have challenges, and that is a lack of access to local tennis courts. Having courts reliably available will remove barriers and allow us to directly serve under-resourced communities. Sometimes our school district courts are not available seasonally, for instance, with high school tennis, or construction issues, and they may be limited geographically. So we're not necessarily in some of the areas where we would like to be and that local city courts may be. And another challenge is trying to get the word out about the opportunities that we offer for the community. Our partnership goal would be forming a partnership with the city of Ann Arbor, which would allow Blue Sky Tennis to use existing city courts to provide accessible, equitable opportunities for residents to learn tennis, especially in underserved communities. This will enhance the overall health and wellness of our residents. And I just want to put up a couple testimonials for you to read over. But I just really want to say thank you guys for this opportunity to present. And I hope that we can develop a partnership going forward that can help the community. Thanks so much for your time. And I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if you want to bring any questions back to me, I'd be happy to answer them at any point.
Absolutely. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Doesn't seem like there's any questions, so I'll kind of jump in and add a couple things from the city. So, we have historically kind of kept tennis courts, pickleball courts, basketball courts as public access only. So we don't rent them out for events or special programming that often. But one of the things when this was brought to my attention is the idea of a partnership with it. When we begin to think about the idea of pop-up events or things to get some of these courts utilized and help create a next generation of tennis users or court users is a big part of why this is intriguing. We have a similar situation at the Ann Arbor Skate Park where we teach young children, or the Friends of the Skate Park teach young children and girls to do skating. So it's really trying to find an opportunity to utilize our parks in ways to help benefit not just today, but into the future. So really the reason for Rhonda to come and to talk about Blue Sky is this idea that city staff are intrigued about this possibility of maybe providing some space in some locations. Maybe not regularly at this point, but just some pop-ups or looking at some of our programmings, as it was mentioned with the Ypsilanti school camps. There might be opportunities with our camps in the summer at Buer or at other parks. So just beginning to create some of those ideas as we move forward. So now that created enough other questions, so I will stop talking and let Alexa.
Go ahead. Alexa is, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, thanks, Vonda, for joining us today and for putting together a presentation about the work that you do. I would love to know, you mentioned about this idea of the court access being really important to the work you're trying to do and the young people you're looking to reach. Are there particular parts of Ann Arbor or parks you have in mind that you think are closest to some of those potential groups that you're looking to do outreach on at this point in the work you've done?
Yes, I think so. I mean, actually it seems like every neighborhood in Ann Arbor, there are like the haves, kind of the have-nots nearby, or, it's mixed sometimes. So, but I would say maybe Clinton Park, which seems to be somewhat underutilized. Burr Park has areas around there that are, there's definitely communities there. I was hoping that you guys or maybe someone else within the city can also maybe give me some demographic information if this partnership happens, which I hope it does, but would be able that we could kind of be able to pinpoint certain areas. For instance, Vets Park, like working with Peace Neighborhood, that's another area. What are we going to do? The kids that we work with in the summer, what is going to happen to them? Like what is going to happen to these kids that we're starting to form relationships with, and actually they're getting excited about tennis and they're getting the rackets. They might just go out. I don't know. Like I would like to be able to say, hey, there's going to be something over here, or we can do another activation that they can get involved with, and invite their friends to come to. There's different age. It's not even just that they're residents. There might be their agencies that they work with, right? That are supporting them that might be in certain areas. So to be able to overlay that information would be really a great tool. I think it would be very powerful. And you've got to think that these courts are assets. They're assets and resources to the entire community. So whatever we can overlay into that, that would be great. So I'm sure you guys have more information. I haven't had the kind of time or support to be able to really dig deeply into that. But I think obviously near the Title I schools, and some of those areas, yeah, those are south. I think that's considered like the southeastern part of Ann Arbor for sure. But I think a partnership is where that we could work together to try to pinpoint some of those areas. And you guys have more information than me. That's a great question.
Oh, just to say really quickly, I think the Housing Commission will be a good resource for you to talk to, because a lot of our commission sites are purposely put next to parks. I know Green Baxter in my ward and any number of sites across the city do have some access to parks as well. So that could be Jennifer Hall and the Housing Commission could be a good place for you to reach out to, and maybe Travis, Councilmember Radina, and I can maybe connect with you after the meeting, or via email.
That's great. Yeah, I know West Park too. There are definitely some places around there too that, yeah, so great. That's a beautiful idea, really.
Yeah, and I think
Intriguing.
in addition, again, it's partnerships. Again, the Community Action Network does a lot of Northside, as well as Bryan Community Center, both of which are relatively close to some courts in there. So I think it's trying the idea of trying to find ways to serve all the needs with it and get courts utilized and eventually create partnerships that will help us down the road as well. Many of our courts are in need of some loving care, and the more partners and uses that we can get that make them a little bit more attractive to grant partners or different things like that is another reason for us to look to collaborate on these type of things.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your presentation and all this information.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thank you. All right, next up is an update on the pickleball survey, which I think Josh is doing.
Yep, I am going to go ahead and do this. Apparently, this is our court based meeting. It wasn't really the plan when we put this together, but we will talk a little bit about that. So let me get this going here. Oops, I don't like when I do that. Skip. All right. Share my screen. Do this. All right. So don't like I got this on the wrong side. We'll do it this way. So again, we're going to talk a little bit about the pickleball survey that was put out. If you recall, there was some articles, there's some information about individuals that there's a desire for more pickleball use over the city, and we're reminded regularly that it is the fastest growing sport in America, and there is a need within the community for more courts. Obviously, creating dedicated courts is a significant financial issue. Brand new courts not only just need in regards to replacing them, but also to developing them takes a lot of time and energy. We are doing that at South Maple as we're redoing some courts there, but it's very difficult. So one of the things that we wanted to put out is the idea of striping over tennis courts. And so what we did is we put a survey out to the whole community, and we'll talk about some of those details and then also what we look to do from there. So our survey, we sent it out to the community, and we received about 150 responses. And this was targeted with both questions about pickleball and tennis citywide. And the goal was to ask about general pickleball and tennis habits and preferences. And then also asking them to rank where they thought striping may be preferred. And then also how they might prefer to be striped. As a non-tennis player or pickleball player, I wanted to ask the question, do we stripe just in the middle of the court, or do we put more courts going on the sides without the net in the middle? Because I think you can play pickleball at any court, but I'm not an avid pickleballer. So we wanted to get that information from this, and I'm going to do this. Hold on for 1 second. Stop share because I don't like this. I'm back in here. I like the bigger screen. Getting old, so my eyes are a little harder. So from this, some of the high level surveys, about 57% of the response were from pickleball only. 23 were from pickleball and tennis players. 15% were from tennis players only, and 3% decided to do a fun survey where they were not pickleballers or tennis players. So 94% of the respondents were Ann Arbor residents. And the reality is the almost half of the respondents were very supportive of adding pickleball striping to existing tennis courts. Followed by 24 that were not, were very unsupportive. So we had extremes on both sides of it. Again, based on the type of where to place it, 34% were in favor of just putting it in the center, so that they could utilize the net for pickleball, even though it is not regulation. Followed by just below it is the preference of no striping on the court. I think that is a combination of both tennis players and people who want dedicated pickleball courts, which is a little bit of both. And then a small percentage was like the idea of placing it on either side of the net, which would thus create several more courts, but will require nets for that. The 4 parks that were identified highest as potential striping locations were Cranbrook Park, Hunt Park, Northside Park, and then Veterans Memorial, where we already have 1 court striped, and so adding more courts to that. Again, we wanted to get some information about it. Both pickleballers and tennis players play weekly, and a little bit more tennis was in the evenings. We're only 39% focused on the evenings in pickleball. The biggest probably difference between the two is that pickleballs felt that there was a poor availability or fair availability compared to probably being good and fair, which goes to the number of courts that we have available both at pickleball and tennis, with tennis being more. The pickleball was often experienced long wait times, while tennis was sometimes or rarely, and very much both. Pickleball was played at Leslie primarily, with Burns Park and Veterans following up, and tennis included Veterans and West Park, as well as Burns Park, where we have dedicated courts at Burns and Leslie. As I mentioned, probably one of the bigger things was the request for infrastructure, adding lights, Cranbrook, which is on our list of courts that need to be resurfaced, were some of the key moments with that. There is general positivity about playing pickleball. It is a fun sport. It is there. There is also concerns about the sound of the pickleball, which creates some concerns for residents near those courts. Again, strong support for dedicated pickleball courts, which is something we hear regularly, primarily because it's dedicated and it doesn't create conflicts of people utilizing them, just a little bit more expensive and harder. And then, as I mentioned, there's some of the concerns related to striping, is the shared use, and adding lines to a court makes it a little bit more distracting, although it can be multi-use with it. So what are our next steps? Based on the information that we received, we are going to be sending out targeted surveys to the following park neighborhoods: Cranbrook, Hunt, Northside, and Vets, to see what the localized interest is there. Gives us the opportunity to have some conversations about some of the concerns that may be there that are less driven by pickleballers, but also kind of the ones that are there occasionally, or live around there. We will continue the progress on the new courts at South Maple. That is something that we're excited about. It takes time, it takes energy, and with everything else that's going on in the Parks Department, it is there, it is moving, just not as fast as any of us would like. We will also, I mean, through our asset management program, we are going to be developing a resurfacing class / replacement plan for courts that are out there. We are going to know what is our best court, what is our worst court, and kind of creating a timeline for each of those, knowing what those kind of costs are, so that as we have funds available or partnerships available, we can move forward on those. And then continue to identify opportunities for the growth of pickleball. One of the things we did this summer is at Veterans Memorial, we purchased a net. And we also put down pickleball lines in the rink, not with ice on it, but without the ice, for opportunities to rent, either to take it out to the tennis courts out there or to come inside and play on a day like today when it might be a little rainy and not wanting to be outside. But as we see opportunities for growth of the sport that makes sense within our department, we will continue to have those type of opportunities. So that was the quick overview. I will send this out with the minutes that has a whole lot of the details about the responses, which are less exciting to talk about and more exciting to read. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen and I will answer any questions that we have.
I have a question while other people think. I'm curious if there have been, just because of the popularity of it, if there's been any partners identified for helping support access to pickleball courts in the community.
We meet occasionally with some individuals that are very passionate about pickleball. We've worked with the rules that we've put up at the tennis courts with that group. There has been some potential conversations about funding support, but never to the point where there's been any reality of further conversations. We will continue to look at it. I do know, as I mentioned when Vonda was here, I mean, the USTA has a court grant program that we're looking into that is good and bad. Ann Arbor has goods and bads with grants. So, trying to find those partners where we can do the work with underserved, work with areas of our community to be more attractive to grants is what we're looking to do. But from pickleball, no, there's not been any major funder or opportunity that we have found at this point. That's where we're at this moment. So.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Alexa.
Thanks for the overview of the survey, Josh. I thought it was really interesting, just seeing kind of the access question that was asked about whether people think they have more or less access to each type of court.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming we don't have any more detailed utilization numbers of courts, but that's probably our best go-to about sort of what's available and what's out there in terms of what people could use.
Yeah, anecdotally, we could go out and look at some things. We've had some conversations about utilizing data that is available out in the world. So that's something that we're looking into a little bit more to see that use. We don't have counters. We did it with the dog parks where we did a counter, but this one we haven't done yet. I think it's finding the way. As with any non-staff park, it's always anecdotal until you find some way to do it more. And that's the hard part. And so we're looking at ways to do that. And hopefully we can find some ways that we can get that data, relatively easily here. Because in addition to be able to talk about this, it also gives us, when we talk about grants and different things, that kind of data is very helpful to say these are courts that are regularly used or those type of things. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. If there are no more questions, that leads us to the manager's report. Josh, back at you.
It is my day. Just a couple things. Really exciting. Construction for the Bicentennial Park splash pad has begun. We've done some of the demo work and some of the piping work in the new restroom that will be going on there. We have also the installation of the MEC 2.0 system, which will be what keeps the water safe and clean and recirculating, has been installed. I believe today the playground was starting to be torn down, so a lot of demo work right now. We continue to move ourselves forward with ways we considering to do some fundraising. Although our signs up at Bicentennial Park have not generated any new gifts for us, but we continue to reach out and ask and try to find ways to move ourselves forward. We will be able to get the splash pad, the playground, the restroom, all kind of up. But we're still a little short on some of the final touches to make it for it to be able to be opened. So we're continuing to do that. So as more stuff comes about with that, we will keep this group informed as well. Second on my list, I sent this out last week in a quick email, but very excited about this Saturday from 4 to 7 at West Park is our first Party in the Park. It is an activation event put on by Tori Watson, who is our new recreation supervisor overseeing that. Couple bands, face painting, bounce house, food trucks, just a great opportunity to get into a space that we want to get activated. We want people to come down and use some positive space for. So we are looking for a few volunteers. We are looking for people to come and have a good time. So if you have the ability to stop by this Saturday from 4 to 7, please do. It should be a good time. And we're excited about the work that Tori is doing, not just here, but her dance classes at Liberty Plaza the last few Wednesdays and one more tomorrow. So really kind of getting in and hitting the ground running. So I wanted to give her a lot of praise for that one. The last thing that I have is as we approach the end of school or end of the summer and school starting next week, means that many of our operations are starting to close down. Camps will all be done this Friday. Pools will start going to restricted hours, especially at Vets and Buer beginning next week. The liveries after Labor Day. It is that time when we kind of slow down as staff leave to go back to school, go back to other jobs, that type of stuff. But people continue to want to come to our park. So with that, I just want to say thank you to over 400 staff who chose Ann Arbor Parks this summer as their place of employment. Their effort helps people have exceptional experiences in our parks over the summer. And while it is not always the easiest or most comfortable job, their dedication has helped make this summer great for so many people. So just thank you to all of them, as well as their supervisors, who I thank regularly. But without those 400 plus people, our parks would look a lot different over the summer. So with that, that is my update. I'm happy to answer any question or move forward.
All right.
Oh.
Oh, Alexa, go for it.
I would just echo Josh, your shout out to the park staff over the summer. I mean, I think they deliver a really excellent experience through the swim programs we have and just a lot of the opportunities that are available at a really reasonable cost for people. And so, yeah, I think they just deliver an exceptional level of service and hope to recognize that.
Thank you. We will share that down.
And just another echo, I've had the opportunity to do quite a few parks programs with my own family this summer, and I've not had a bad experience yet. Everyone's been wonderful. So also grateful for I know how much work goes into that, and it's very appreciated. Okay, next is committees. Hannah, is there any RAC updates?
RAC does not meet in the summer, so I don't really have a RAC report, but I do want to mention that fall registration is open for before and after school care, fall sports, things like volleyball and basketball are opening soon, and also adult enrichment if you're interested in any of that.
Perfect. Any other committee updates? All right, that brings us to our regular business. We do have a resolution on the agenda, which I believe Josh is going to tell us about.
I am. It's a relatively simple one. Last November, the Washtenaw County residents voted for the Washtenaw County Older Persons Millage, which was to support programming and opportunities for older adults or persons in Washtenaw County. That passed. And one of the things that they have done since that point is identified kind of some initial funding to go to 10 eligible senior centers in Washtenaw County to support their operations and their programming and improvements. The Ann Arbor Senior Center was included in that initial list of 10, which we're very, very excited for and appreciative of the elected officials. And you know, Councilmember Radina was part of the conversations, and so was Councilmember Watson at a recent town hall at the senior center. So this is simply a resolution to say, yes, we would like to accept this money. And we would like that money, because it's not part of the budget, to be appropriated to the general fund, which allows us to really use it for anything related to the senior center. If it was in the millage, it would be very much tied to specifics that the millage is allowed to do, whereas this can address both improvements and programming and some temporary staffing. Because at this point, this is not a long-term commitment to the funding. We cannot use it for full-time staff, but we are in conversations with the county and our finance department, if that does become a long-term commitment, about how we can get some full-time support at the senior center with these funds. So I probably talked more than I thought I would about it, but we're kind of excited. So.
All right. Are there any questions or discussion or a motion to approve? Motion, Chris?
Oh no, sorry. I just also wanted to thank Josh and the staff over at the senior center for hosting the town hall. It's just very clear that constituents and seniors were really looking for some of this funding to go back to the city senior center, and I think that speaks to the kind of services that are provided there, because they're really beloved. So thank you to the park staff on that.
If there aren't other questions, I would make a motion to approve the resolution.
Okay. Is there a second? Larry? All right. All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. All those opposed? Okay, motion approved. That takes us to, we have a closed session coming up, and that requires a motion for us to go into a closed session. So does anyone want to initiate the motion for PAC to meet in closed session? Thank you, Vincent. Is there, do we need a second? A second? Tisha, okay. And then I believe we need a roll call vote, Josh.
Yep. Commissioner Bush,
Yes.
Commissioner Cavateo,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connell,
Yes.
Commissioner Montague,
Yes.
Commissioner Perlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Skylas,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
It is approved.
Okay, you should have received the closed session link in your email, so we will see you there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the hardest part. I'm all by myself. I got to get that reopened and get everybody back in. No, we're not. Okay. All right, so roll call. Commissioner Bush,
Present.
Commissioner Cavateo,
Present.
Commissioner Marson, Commissioner O'Connell,
Here.
Commissioner Montague,
Present.
Commissioner Pulowski,
Here.
Commissioner Skylas,
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
All right, we're all back.
Okay, that brings us to our next public commentary session. If you wish to comment, please follow the instructions to raise your hand to indicate you'd like to speak. When it's your turn to speak, you can state your first name and address. We allow 3 minutes per speaker. We won't respond in the moment to speakers, but we appreciate you taking the time to call in and share your thoughts with us. Do we have any callers for public comment?
We do not.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our agenda then. Your communications are attached to the agenda. And that is the end. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.